Okay, today we will watch this Why No One Wants to See Jey Uso Anymore. Obviously, Jey Uso was a big WWE star. He was in the past. Damn, my camera's ass. He's at the back here. But still, he's definitely had a push where people are sick of it. So, let's see what our boy Wrestling Revival has to say.
Easy to connect with. He wasn't just a tag team wrestler anymore. Alright, let's get right into it. I'm at the point where every time I hear Jey Uso's music hit, I just roll my eyes. It's not hate, it's exhaustion. WWE has managed to take a wrestler fans once rooted for and turn him into the most overexposed name on Raw. There's a difference between being a star and being shoved in everyone's face week after week, and WWE doesn't seem to understand that. The company has fallen into this pattern where it mistakes familiarity for fan investment, and Jey has become the biggest victim of that. He's being used as a tool, not a character, and the audience is starting to tune out because of it. When Jey first split from the Bloodline, it was a big deal. Fans were genuinely behind him because it felt like a real story about breaking free, standing up to power, and proving independence. It was emotional, layered, and easy to connect with. He wasn't just a tag team wrestler anymore. He was a man fighting for his own name. That was the moment people believed WWE had a chance to make a new single star. But instead of building him through natural growth, they've just been recycling the same story beats over and over. Every few weeks, he gets another title shot, another big moment, another main event label slapped on him like it still means something. The problem isn't Jey himself. He's talented, charismatic, and capable of connecting with people. The issue is that WWE has no clue what to actually do with him. They keep booking him like a main eventer without giving him main event stories. The matches are fine, the promos are fine, but there's no progression. He's stuck in creative limbo, always chasing something but never changing because of it. And fans can sense when a character isn't evolving. They know when the story's just spinning its wheels. You can't keep feeding people the same plate of food and expect them to act like it's a new meal. Part of what made Jey compelling was that he had a reason to fight. The Bloodline story gave him conflict and direction. Now, WWE is treating him like a character who exists just to fill screen time. Every time there's a contender match or a title vacancy, they go, throw Jey in there. The crowd likes him. That's not storytelling, that's lazy booking. It's the same formula they used years ago when they pushed Roman Reigns too hard and turned the fans against him. The more they tried to make fans love him, the more people started resenting him. WWE never learns from that mistake. They confuse noise for passion, and Jey's getting caught in the same trap. What's really sad is that his rise could have meant something long term. The Bloodline angle built him up perfectly for a singles run that explored his identity, his confidence, his insecurities, all the stuff that made him human. Instead, WWE flattened that into a shallow feel-good push. They traded depth for repetition. Now every week feels like a rerun, and the audience has stopped caring. It's not that they dislike Jey, they're just tired of seeing him being used the same way without purpose. Even his victories don't feel earned anymore because they're predictable. You already know how it'll go. He wins a few matches, gets a contender shot, comes up short, and then somehow ends up back in the mix a few weeks later. It's a never-ending loop with no payoff, and the worst part is that WWE has so many other people on the roster who could benefit from that spotlight. Guys like Chad Gable, Ricochet, and Sami Zayn could easily carry their own stories,
not the company anymore.
But they keep getting pushed aside for Jey.
This video was released 8 days ago. Yeah, he was definitely not the company.
Because he's a safe choice. WWE loves safe. They'd rather repeat the same booking formula than take risks. The irony is that this kind of safe booking is exactly what's making the product feel stale. Fans want variety, not repetition. They want a reason to invest, not just another feel-good pop. When Jey walks out every week to challenge for another belt, it doesn't feel exciting anymore. It feels forced. WWE keeps trying to sell him as an underdog, but he's been in main event after main event. There's nothing underdog about that anymore. You can't keep calling someone an underdog when they're constantly in title matches. The story doesn't make sense, and fans are too smart to fall for it. That's why you see more and more people online saying they're done with his push. They're not being haters. They're reacting to bad storytelling. They're reacting to a product that stopped respecting their intelligence. Another thing WWE doesn't realize is that overexposure ruins mystique. The more you see someone, the less special they feel.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation.
Jey Uso used to have that spark, that main event energy where his matches felt like an event. Now it's just noise. He's become part of the background, not because he isn't good, but because WWE refuses to let him step out of this endless cycle. Even his promos feel empty now because we've heard it all before. The same lines about proving himself, the same speeches about earning respect. It's all recycled. There's no real emotional weight anymore, just repetition disguised as storytelling. Fans aren't dumb. They know when someone's being shoved down their throats. They know when a company is trying too hard to create a moment instead of letting letting it happen naturally, and once that trust is broken, it's hard to get it back. The Jey Uso fatigue that's spreading through the fan base isn't random. It's the direct result of overbooking. WWE has taken something that used to feel authentic and turned it into corporate programming. Every segment feels calculated, every reaction feels manufactured, and that's the exact opposite of what made Jey special in the first place. It's not just about him either. It's about what this kind of booking says about WWE's creative direction. The company has this obsession with trying to create moments instead of stories. They'll focus on crowd pops, chants, and social media clips instead of long-term storytelling. So when Jey gets another big win or another main event, it's not because it fits his arc. It's because WWE wants another viral highlight. That's fine once in a while, but when it becomes the whole strategy, it destroys consistency. You can't build a lasting star that way. You just burn through momentum until people stop reacting. Look at how predictable Raw has become because of this. You already know who's going to be in the main event before the show even starts. There's no surprise factor anymore. Fans crave unpredictability, and WWE keeps giving them predictability dressed up as hype. That's why every time Jey Uso wins another Contenders match, it's met with groans instead of cheers. It's not because people hate him, it's because they've stopped believing any of it matters. When everything feels scripted to death, nothing feels real. Jey deserves a break from the spotlight, not because he's bad, but because he needs it to mean something again. Overexposure drains the audience and the performer. He's become the symbol of WWE's short-term thinking, a company that doesn't let anything breathe. They could easily write him into a story that takes him away from the title scene for a while, maybe something that lets him reset and rebuild, but they won't because they're addicted to easy pops. They think constant visibility equals popularity. It doesn't. It just kills interest faster. Fans have reached the point where they'd rather see almost anyone else get a push, not because they hate Jey, but because they want change. They want to feel like WWE can still surprise them, that it can tell stories with actual progression instead of looping through the same motions. When you look at someone like Drew McIntyre or Gunther, you see purpose, you see growth, conflict, direction. When you look at Jey's booking right now, you see a placeholder. You see WWE trying to fill time while pretending it's storytelling. The saddest part is that Jey still has everything it takes to be a genuine star. He's charismatic, emotional, and connects with people, but he needs a story that challenges him again. Not another title chase, not another speech about independence. Something real. WWE doesn't seem interested in giving him that. They're too busy milking his popularity instead of nurturing it. That's what happens when a company runs on autopilot. It forgets how to make fans care. If WWE actually cared about the audience's reaction, they'd notice the fatigue by now. The cheers have turned into polite noise. The excitement has turned into tolerance. And when fans start watching out of habit instead of passion, that's when you know something's wrong. They're not chanting because they're invested anymore. They're chanting because that's what they've been trained to do. It's robotic, and that's never a good sign. The truth is, WWE's constant use of Jey Uso isn't helping him. It's hurting him. It's making fans resent the sight of someone they used to root for. It's making great moments feel empty, and it's showing that the company still hasn't learned how to handle success. Instead of pacing a push, they run it into the ground. They don't know how to say enough. They don't know how to build anticipation anymore. They just throw everything at the wall until the crowd stops reacting, and then they wonder why ratings dip or online reactions go sour. If WWE wants people to care about Jey again, they need to take him out of the spotlight for a while and let his character evolve. Let him fail, let him question himself, let him rebuild. Fans would rally behind that because it would feel real. Right now, nothing feels real about his push. It feels mechanical, and no matter how loud the music hits or how many times the announcers call him Main Event Jey, the audience can tell when the magic is gone. Jey Uso's story could have been one of the best redemption arcs WWE has ever told, but they're suffocating it with overexposure and lazy writing. He deserves better, and the fans deserve better. WWE needs to stop acting like pushing someone non-stop equals success. It doesn't. It's how stars burn out. It's how fans stop caring. And it's exactly why people are sick of seeing Jey Uso every single week. The longer this goes on, the more it says about WWE's mindset, not about Jey himself. They've fallen into a comfort zone where they rely on short-term reactions instead of building genuine anticipation. It's like they think the audience can't handle slow burn storytelling anymore, so they just hit the same button repeatedly. Jey is the current face of that approach. Every time something feels stale, they drop him into another match and call it a big moment. It's not creative, it's reactive. That's why fans feel insulted. They can see the pattern. It's not about hating a performer, it's about realizing the company isn't respecting their attention span. You can tell when WWE is writing for noise instead of meaning. They've forgotten that fans don't want to be told what to feel. They want to be part of a story that earns their emotion. When Jey is shoved into yet another title picture with no reason beyond he's popular, it kills the illusion that any of this matters. The audience knows when something's a business decision disguised as a story. What's happening with Jey Uso shows how disconnected WWE's creative system has become from its audience. They talk about listening to fans, but they don't actually pay attention to what the crowd reactions mean. They mistake polite applause for approval and social media trends for passion. They don't seem to realize that people aren't booing Jey because he's a heel or cheering because he's a babyface. They're reacting to how stale everything feels. The product has lost its pulse because the company keeps treating its audience like background noise instead of participants. Until they fix that, nothing will change. They'll keep running the same loops, pushing the same people, and wondering why the crowds keep getting quieter. It's not Jey's fault, it's the system that refuses to learn, and the longer WWE keeps pretending everything's fine, the more fans will check out. The sad truth is, people aren't angry because they hate Jey Uso. They're angry because they loved what he represented, and WWE ruined it by not knowing when to stop.
Yeah, that's it. You just said that they ruined his character, which is true by all means. That's it for today. Please sub. I have a hand towel. But yeah, see you soon.